Welcome to Sahal's Etuson. Today we are going to discuss about gas exchange in humans, human respiratory system. Key structures. Lungs. The lungs are the main organs in the respiratory system containing the surfaces where gas exchange takes place. Ribs and intercostal muscles. Intercostal muscles are found between the ribs. Internal and external intercostal muscles work antagonistically in pairs to expand and contract the rib cage during breathing. The ribs also protect the lungs and heart from physical damage. Larynx contains the vocal cords. Trachea connects the throat to the bronchi. C-shaped cartilage rings are present to provide structural strength, keeping the trachea open so that air can pass through it. Bronchi. Hollow tubes composed of cartilage rings that carry air from the trachea to the lungs. The bronchi splits into two tubes to enter the left and right lung before branching further inside the lungs. Bronchioles. Smaller tubes which branch off from the bronchi in the lungs leading to the alveoli. Alveoli, where gas exchange occurs, comprised of tiny air sacs with a capillary network. Oxygen from the air diffuses into the capillaries, whilst waste carbon dioxide diffuses out. Waste gases are then breathed out. Structure of the breathing system. Flashcard number 1. Describe the structure of the lungs. The trachea branches into two bronchi. The bronchi branch into bronchioles. These bronchioles end in alveoli, which are lined with capillaries for exchange. Respiratory system. Features of gas exchange surfaces. The surfaces where gas exchange occurs in an organism are very different, and different organisms have evolved different mechanisms for getting the gases to the gas exchange surface depending on size where they live. All gas exchange surfaces have features in common. These features allow the maximum amount of gases to be exchanged across the surface in the smallest amount of time. They include large surface area to allow faster diffusion of gases across the surface, thin walls to ensure diffusion distance remains short, good ventilation with the air so that diffusion gradients can be maintained, good blood supply to maintain a high concentration gradient so diffusion occurs faster. Ventilation. Ventilation is the act of moving air into and out of the lungs to allow gas exchange to occur. Breathing in. Internal intercostal muscles relax while the external intercostal muscles contract, pulling the ribs up and out, while the diaphragm flattens, pushing the abdominal muscles downwards. The volume in the thorax, that is chest cavity, increases, so air enters the lungs. Air diffuses into the lungs rather than being sucked in. This is because when the volume of the chest increases, there is a lower concentration of air inside the lungs compared to outside, thus air diffuses in. Breathing out. Volume of thorax decreases, increasing pressure so that air is forced out. This is passive. It does not require muscle contraction, except when forcibly breathing out, where the internal intercostal muscles contract. The majority of air in the atmosphere is composed of nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Inhaled air is made up of more oxygen than exhaled air, as oxygen is absorbed into the blood in the alveoli instead of being exhaled. Oxygen is used in cells for respiration and carbon dioxide is produced as a waste product. This carbon dioxide is released from the blood at the alveoli and diffuses out into the lungs before being exhaled. Thus, there is more carbon dioxide in exhaled air. Exhaled air also contains more water vapor than inhaled air. When exercise is carried out, muscles increase the rate of respiration to produce energy for muscle contraction. Aerobic respiration requires oxygen, thus a greater amount of oxygen is demanded. In addition, a greater amount of carbon dioxide is produced as a waste substance which diffuses into the blood. This increase in carbon dioxide in the blood is detected by the brain, which causes the rate of breathing to speed up, allowing gas exchange to happen more rapidly, expelling the carbon dioxide while taking in more oxygen. The heart rate is also increased to pump substances around the body more quickly in the blood. Adaptations of exchange surfaces. Large surface area, thin surface, good blood supply, good ventilation with the air. Large surface area allows more efficient diffusion. The alveoli allow the lungs to have a huge surface area of 80 to 100 square meters. Thin surface. This means that there is a short diffusion distance, thus exchange can occur more rapidly. Good blood supply. Maintain concentration gradient by carrying away substances which have diffused across already. Good ventilation with the air. This means that waste gases can diffuse out of the blood into the air in the lungs while oxygen diffuses into the blood. Moist. Allows gases to dissolve before diffusing across the membrane. The lungs are also adapted to protect from foreign pathogens and particles. Goblet cells found in the trachea and bronchi are adapted to secrete mucus in the respiratory tract. Foreign pathogens and particles stick to this mucus, which is then moved upwards towards the throat by cilia. Cilia are hairy-like projections from some cells. Mucus is then swallowed. The pathogens are destroyed in the acidic conditions in the stomach. Flashcard 2. What are the features of an efficient gas exchange surface? Large surface area, thin, good blood supply and good ventilation with the air to ensure a steep concentration gradient. Flashcard 3. Identify the structures of the respiratory system labeled in the diagram. The intercostal muscles. Muscles are only able to pull on bones, not push on them. This means that there must be two sets of intercostal muscles, one to pull the ribcage up and the other set to pull it down. One set of intercostal muscles is found on the outside of the ribcage, the external intercostal muscles. The other set is found on the inside the ribcage, the internal intercostal muscles. There are two sets of intercostal muscles, the external on the outside of the ribcage and the internal on the inside of the ribcage. Both muscles are shown in the given figure. The trachea. Rings of cartilage surrounded the trachea. The function of the cartilage is to support the airways and keep them open during breathing. If they were not present, then the sides may collapse inwards when the air pressure inside the tubes drops. The function of cilia and mucus. The passages down to the lungs are lined with ciliated epithelial muscle cells. Cilia comes from the Latin for eyelash. So unsurprisingly, these cells have tiny hairs on the end of them that beat and push mucus up the passages towards the nose and throat where it can be removed. The mucus is made by special mucus producing cells called goblet cells because they are shaped like a goblet or cup. The mucus traps particles, pathogens like bacteria or viruses and dust and prevents them getting into the lungs and damaging the cells there. Mucus traps particles, dust and pathogens and cilia beat and push it up and away from the lungs. Flashcard 4. What is the purpose of the cartilage in the trachea? The cartilage supports the trachea and prevents it from closing. Flashcard 5. What is the percentage composition of nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide in inhaled air? Nitrogen 79%, oxygen 21%, carbon dioxide 0.04%. Flashcard 6. What is the percentage composition of nitrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide in exhaled air? Nitrogen 79%, oxygen 16%, carbon dioxide 4%. Flashcard 7. State the difference in the amount of water vapor present in inhaled air versus exhaled air. Exhaled air tends to contain more water vapor than inhaled air. Flashcard 8. Why is the percentage of nitrogen in the exhaled air the same as the inhaled air? The body does not absorb nitrogen from the air, so all of the nitrogen that is taken in is released again. Flashcard 9. Describe the difference in the percentage of carbon dioxide and oxygen in inhaled air and exhaled air. There is a lower percentage of oxygen in exhaled air as some of the oxygen is absorbed by the body. There is a higher percentage of carbon dioxide in exhaled air as extra carbon dioxide from respiration is removed. Flashcard 10. Describe the effect of physical activity on breathing rate and breathing depth. As physical activity increases, the breathing rate increases and so does the breathing depth. Flashcard 11. Explain the effect of physical activity on breathing rate and breathing depth. As physical activity increases, the rate of respiration also increases, producing more carbon dioxide. The brain detects the increased carbon dioxide concentration in the blood and sends signal to trigger an increase in breathing rate and depth to remove the carbon dioxide more quickly. Flashcard 12. How do ciliated epithelial cells and goblet cells work together to remove debris and pathogens from the gas exchange system? Goblet cells produce mucus which traps particles and pathogens, and ciliated epithelial cells waft the particles towards the throat to be swallowed. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe our channel for more educational videos.